All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're super excited to have Michelle here live. She's an expert at her craft, and we're excited to learn from her today. I am going to go ahead and drop in the chat a sign up link for a free Leland account. We do a ton of free events. This is our first of six today. So, as you can imagine, we're doing that all week long and every month. So, we always encourage people to create a free Leland account so that they can stay up to date for future events we do, and stay in the loop for free resources, coaching discounts, and get all of our communication so you're not only up to date, but able to stay active in the community. So super excited about that. I was just talking to Michelle. This is our first software engineering event. We have done a ton of software engineering coaching on the platform. People have landed great jobs already, but this is our first official event. So honored to have Michelle here with us today. She's going to lead us in a great presentation, but just wanted to kick things off from the Leland team and get you all excited. Michelle is a software engineer at Netflix. And so, as you can imagine, super accredited at what she does, an expert in her space. And so, I want to leave the rest of the time now to her to get things going, and we'll kick off now. Thanks, Michelle, for being here, and holler if you need anything from our end.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here and happy to talk to all of you today. So I'm going to start with a little confession, if that's okay. I already know you're going to be a lovely audience and you definitely won't tell on me, right? So my confession is that I am trash at leak code. Don't get me wrong, I am a fantastic engineer. I can make production ready distributed systems for millions of users. I'm a champion at finding and fixing weird bugs. I just can't handle imaginary puzzles. So, how did I manage a 14-year career and end up at a FANG company when cracking the code interview puts me to sleep? The answer is not what you may have heard before. There are best practices for how to design systems and how to write Python, and there are also best practices for an engineering career. Best practices are the generally accepted answers that most people do. So, get a computer science degree, get a good internship, and then work at a big tech company. And then profit? Yeah. The last part is a little fuzzy, but doing those three will guarantee success, correct? Well, what if you've done none of those, but still want success? Or you did all of them, but don't find yourself where you want to be? The answer is branding. Whether you want a promotion or you're trying to break in, you'll have a better chance if you have the right job, the right brand for the job that you want. The core of your brand is trying to summarize what you bring to the table, which is the title of our presentation today. When someone says to you, tell me about yourself, are you ready to answer? If you're not sure, you're in the right place. So I'm going to help you craft that answer today. When you hear that question, tell me about yourself, you shouldn't start by thinking about yourself. You should be thinking about the audience. What you say about yourself is entirely dependent on who is asking. What do they want to achieve? Are they looking for someone to solve their scaling issues? Features not going out fast enough? The deadline for the MVP release has already passed, with nothing being released. When you have a job in sales, they tell you you're selling a solution, not a product. You're not selling a hammer, you're selling a way to hang the picture frame. That's exactly what you're doing when you want a new job or promotion. You're not selling your technical services, you're selling stress reduction. You're selling nights going home at 5 instead of 8 because you're there to solve the problems. So in any for-profit enterprise, that starts with ROI. ROI is return on investment, and it's a core tenet in business. If you create a product for $5 and sell it for $15, your return on investment is $10. To increase that ROI, you can either reduce costs or increase results. When you hire someone, you're increasing costs. So you need to increase results even more. You're investing their salary for some sort of profit. Whether it's working directly on a product or supporting its infrastructure, they're generating some sort of return. So when I tell people about myself, I focus on the return, to show that investing in me is always a great idea. What is the impact of my work? How did I help the company become more profitable, save money, or run more efficiently? Are you already trying to think of yours right now? Are you having trouble remembering what you did a month ago, let alone a year ago? That is extremely common. Whatever your current task is, it's going to consume all of your processing power. I'm giving this presentation, but I'm also thinking about a Java bug that I was working on 10 minutes ago and what I want to make for dinner. To explain my solution, let me tell you how it was invented. At my first technical job 14 years ago, I was in an entry-level position. My boss had gotten promoted from within, going from IC to manager to director. She was focused on the work at hand, providing quality technical support to all of our stakeholders. At her first meeting with the vice president, he asked, "What does your team do?" She explained it like this: "My team are support engineers. They are somewhere between IT help desk and a software engineer. They do tasks like disk management, file transfer, and pipeline debugging." Take a second and see if you can figure out the problem in that answer. Technically, it was true. She said exactly what the job was. There's nothing wrong with that. But she didn't think about her audience. What was wrong was that she was explaining the technical tasks to the vice president. Someone at that level of management is going to be focused on the financials of the business and won't understand the impact of these technical tasks. Instead, he's just going to hear there are 40 people on the payroll doing who knows what. Are they really providing value? What if there were 20 of them? Could they provide the same value? After that meeting, my boss realized her error and vowed to never make that mistake again. She would always provide reporting to management that clearly laid out why her team was crucial to the business and how they made more money than they cost. She needed to demonstrate the ROI of her team. She knew that she needed a structure to help her present her story to management. That's when she invented success statements. Success statements are short, easy to read sentences that describe a specific accomplishment. They're designed to highlight the impact of the success first, then how it was accomplished. It should be high level enough that anyone internally can understand and be impressed by it. Some tasks are easier to translate than others, and it can take time to get good at writing success statements. But it's helpful to be able to communicate to management in their language. So they should be similar to a resume bullet point, around 100 to 200 characters. It's always great if you can show impact in cost savings or profit, but time can also work, since salary is a considerable expense. Accomplishments like increased sales or reduced storage costs would be direct monetary impact. At the same time, save the coworker 30 minutes a week by automating a task is an indirect financial impact to salary savings and increased productivity. So what exactly is a success statement? It's, I improved this thing by this measurable amount using this method. And here's some examples. I added a new way for customers to find us, increasing sales 15% by connecting with a third-party API. I reduced storage costs by $500 monthly by switching to a different storage system. I reduced the time spent doing manual tests 60 minutes weekly by creating automated tests. I improved this thing by this measurable amount using this method. Now, this is going to be the first of 3 writing breaks in this talk. I know that when I attend talks, I often think to myself, wow, this is great. Can't wait to work on it. And then I just never do. So to help you get started, we're going to do this right now. I'm going to give you a few minutes. I want you to write one success statement. And I want you to share it in the chat. So I'm going to read them out and I'm going to talk about them. And I'd really love to hear all your successes. So what did you improve? By how much? And how did you do it? And if you're not sure if your success is a success statement, that's where I'm here to help you turn it into the correct language for your audience. Already getting one. That's amazing. Thank you. Let's see. So the first one is grew 4% retention and 3% NPS by enabling creators to improve likes and comments by 38%, which is great. But I don't understand it at all. So if you think about your audience, it could be more broad. So you want to do things that make sense to more people. So you want to use a little bit less business or technical specific language. So this sentence is hard for me to understand. Yeah, what exact impact is, but it's very clear that you have many success here. So I want to thank you for sharing with us. And I'd love to see just like a slight change where you give more information for people like me who don't have the background for understanding all of this. So that's great.
Thank you. How would you improve that, by the way? Thank you so much. The first one.
Well, first of all, I don't know what NPS is.
Okay.
And I don't know what, so I guess retention is like, so I improved this thing. Let me see for a second. So how does retention, let's see, improve this thing? Do a measurable amount by measuring this measurement. I think I would talk about when you improve it, I would think about more like it's actually really great. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'd actually improve in it. Just like maybe make it more clear what it is. Maybe because I don't an NPS that's like a survey score, right? So maybe just more about making the language a little like removing acronyms, right? And just saying like and like how that so I assume retention means like turnover, so that like you increase profit because people aren't leaving the system, right?
Right.
So maybe just like a little more about that, but it's actually like really quite good. I think you've done success statements before. I'm actually very impressed by the first success statement. So I just want to say that's great. The one that stands out actually is define the roadmap of 4 products, because that doesn't start with the impact. The grew 4% retention at 3% FPS. That's starting with, that definitely has that impact in there. Yeah, that makes sense. Like the roadmap is the method instead of this thing that you improved.
Right.
Yeah, so you probably that one you probably see. In that one you're like you're defining something that improves the engineer experience. So you're
Right.
probably reducing wasted time.
Right.
So I would talk about that, how like people are working on the correct things all the time. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. And I think I got a really good insight from you on the number one. I think NPS is a way to measure user experience, and most people understand user experience versus NPS. There
Yeah,
are other ways to measure user experience as well. So kind of roll it up instead of specific metrics might even
yeah,
help, basically. And in terms of retention, if you understand the social media world, then it makes sense, but people don't always understand. And this is vague, and I have heard that comment before. So kind of trying to throw more light into that statement. It actually comes from the resume, and the challenge there is how do I make it one-liners versus two-liners? Because that just makes the resume hard to read. But
exactly.
give me a good insight to work around that and see if I can modify this. So that's pretty good insight. Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, the other thing you can do is go right to profit. So like if it costs, so like what's the cost of acquire a user, and then having a user on the platform gives you this profit, you can always go to that. Like you can find those numbers and then say like, hey, I reduced leaving costs by this amount by this retention, because then you're going right to the profit number. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm getting a ton of them. I'm so excited. Y'all are amazing. Let's see. Okay. Oh, net promoter score. Thank you. Users pay off $250,000 of debt is amazing. Offering technical guidance, financial coding, and how, but yeah, perfect. That's like, I don't have any comments on that. You immediately went to a number that's incredibly impressive. Grew a social services program, 100 clients with 6,000 monthly clients is also great. It has a measurable amount. You know, normally when I do this, people don't have numbers, they don't get the basics right, but everyone is doing really good. I'm very impressed. Like I said, this is an amazing audience. Okay, so I improved user experience. I would actually take a instruction from the first one where you talked about user retention, and another idea here is reducing issues and incidents 60%. You probably reduced customer support time, so that goes right to salary. So like, how much time was customer support spending on these tickets versus now how much they spend on tickets? So if they were spending 100 hours and you reduced it 50%, and now we're spending 50 hours, that's a huge cost savings. So I would actually add that in. Michelle, would you mind going back to mute?
Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. There's so many. Okay. I maintain 90% achievement of the development team's sprint goal by managing priority scheduling and optimizing 2-week sprints. That's all about doing the right things and using salary efficiently and not wasting it. So maybe getting things done in the right time, getting straight to feature profit. So like this is more of a summary. I would talk about specific things like, oh, I got this feature out on time and on schedule, and it got us this much money, or I saved wasted time. So when you don't schedule things correctly, there's a lot of engineering wasted time. So that saves salary. There's so many here. I'm gonna get more to this later, but I'm gonna continue. But I also want to thank you for offering them, and I will get more to the end if we have time. But I want to keep providing value in the stock, so let's keep going. Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about brag sheets. How do you take those success statements and put them together to an actual document that you can use? Brag sheets are a summary of your accomplishments and what you'd like to do next. You can use your brag sheet to prepare for annual reviews that can be promotion packets or to update LinkedIn for your next job. It should be sort of like a resume, but slightly different. I'm going to break down what that is. One of the best ways to get what you want from your current job and future jobs is to make it easy for your boss to say yes. You should never come to your boss with a problem. You should go to your boss with a solution. And this is a solution. I want to improve. I want new things. Here's how you do it. Instead of saying, I need you to do something for me. Okay. So by having this quick reference guide, you'll be the first person they think of when an opportunity comes up. Are they going to go for the people that don't know what they're doing, or the person that, you know, provided this packet of information so they already know how to put them forward? There are 3 parts to a brag sheet, and it's only 1 page, right? Just like a resume. The first part is that record of achievement. This is where you collect all your success statements. Your record of achievement is that summary. So people tend to overestimate what they can get done in a day and underestimate what they can get done in a week. By adding up all your small successes, you can show the big wins. And I saw that in some of the answers where they were more like big summaries. And that's where they go in this record of achievement. So you take all your success statements or all the small wins, and then you see, how can I smush them together and summarize it? Because if you look back a month, 3 months, a year, you know, you can see it all written out. You can see like, wow, this is how much I've done. And fixing like that one success statement, not super impressive, but fixing 20 bugs and increasing sales 10% is very impressive. And you've done that by working this whole quarter. So I've never worked with anyone and they've written all the success statements and they haven't realized how much work they've actually gotten done and how great they've been doing. So by documenting your success statements throughout the year and then putting together in a summary, and I like to summarize every quarter just so it's more fresh. You can put in your record of achievement and really see how great you've been doing. So let's talk about the second section is career goals. So this is a big difference between a brag sheet and a resume, is that you want to put what you want to do. And they should be kind of near term and something that you can accomplish, not something 5 years down the line. It's the next step. And framing is also important. Say you want to be a team lead. You should describe it as, I should be the team lead because I'm the most senior and I write the best code. That's not going to be impactful. You always want to frame it as what is best for the company. In this case, your career goal is still team lead, but it's so you can help mentor other engineers and help them accomplish more. Now your team works faster and is more efficient. That makes your boss look good. Why wouldn't they want to say yes to that? So the third section of your brag sheet is your readiness for goals. Readiness for goals shows how you're either currently ready or in the process of becoming ready. This is another big difference for resumes. This is about what you want to do next. This could be training or certification. This could also be like stretch projects you're starting that will help you use your new skills. So like, oh, I want to be, you want that promotion. Sometimes you want to do the job first before you get that promotion. This is a great example of that. So it's something you could already be doing, or they could be tasks that you're proposing to your boss. Say, hey, I want to take this certification because it'll help me reach this goal and help the company. So let's say yes to this. This section shows that you have a thorough understanding of your career goals. If you put something on here that doesn't make sense, that's a conversation you want to have with your manager or your coach about how to create the right career goals. What is accessible to you? And that's a great thing that I can talk to you about. If you're looking for that first job, what is the right first job? What are the options? What should you do to get it? One of the things I talk about with a lot of my clients is, there's a huge amount of learning you can do. It's like never ending, right? As a technical person, you're constantly going to be learning. So how do you choose exactly the path? How do you choose the right things to learn? There's no clear guide. It's all about what you want to get out of it and what your goals are. So this readiness for goals helps you break down, okay, what do I actually need to do to get that goal? And it's something we're definitely talk about in coaching. So definitely something to look forward to. Okay. This is our second writing break. So this is a little longer, and each writing break is going to get a little longer on what you need to write. So I just want you to start thinking about it and like jotting some notes to kind of work on it after today. But if you want to put in the chat, maybe a career goal that you're looking for, and we could talk about it, like, oh, hey, is that the next step, or is that actually 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line? And it's not bad to have those long-term goals, but you should also have, what are the 5 things I need to do to get to that long-term goal, right? To kind of have an idea. And also, things change all the time. You have to be flexible. The market changes, regulations change, companies change. So you could have a 5-year goal, but the company you want to work for maybe goes out of business, or isn't actually the company you like, or you start a job and realize this is actually what I want to do. So it's important to have that next step. And I want to start hearing about it. Like, what's a specific career goal that you have? Nice. Okay, the first one I got is junior software engineer by September 2024. Awesome goal. And I see you're now like working towards that. You're back in school, you're doing a boot camp, you're building projects. So you're focused on that job. So I would even make it more specific. What kind of companies do you want to work in? What kind of industry do you want to work in? Do you like finance, healthcare, entertainment? That sort of thing helps you narrow your approach. Kind of that broad, I just want to work anywhere can be difficult, but like, what are the things that you like? Because something that you like will show enthusiasm. If you really want to work in a nonprofit, or you really want to work at a small company. So small companies offer that option of, you can wear a lot of hats. Big companies offer, you can get really deep dive into very obscure technical things. One of the great things I love working at a big company, as opposed to the startup I worked on right before this, is that there's so many people here, they've solved all the easy problems, and now I get to do the really hard problems. But as a startup, I got to wear many hats and do lots of different things. So I would actually narrow that down and try to figure out where exactly would bring you the most joy. I can find a link for you of brag sheets, and also at the end of this, I will give you a worksheet that has all this information in it, so it can help you fill it in that information. Let's see. That healthcare looks amazing. Conducted daily assessments for 5 to 8 patients every 2 hours, resulting in early health issues being detected and necessary interventions taken. That is fantastic. So it resulted in not patients not having further problems and requiring further expenditure. And I think I sound a little cold saying this, but like, you not only help people, but you help save money, which is more what people are thinking about. So you know, reduce the further care is something I would also feature in your success, is that they did not have to have expensive, complicated procedures, which would have been awful for them, but also spend more money in the companies. Let's see. My goal is to become an accomplished financial advisor and planner. I've been studying for new certifications this spring. Start working with media ASAP to build my personal brand and company. Excellent. Okay, the new certifications is great. I assume as a financial advisor, you need that you need to get that specific certifications, the like legal stuff. So that's definitely the first thing you need for that. And then also, you know, as a financial planner, you're always looking for clients. So that's something I would think about is like, how are you going to get clients? Are you going to join a company? Are you going to start your own thing? Like what do you want to do as a financial advisor and planner? Do you want to, which way do you want to go? Right. So that's not my specific knowledge set is financial planning, but I can still tell you that there's different ways to do things and you want to find some specificity in that. Okay. Okay. So a program manager, not at a tech company. Program managers are transferable. Let's talk about skill transference because I'm going to talk about that more a little later. But it's all about, they're all transferable, right? You can use a skill at one place that works in another. And I'm going to talk about that more deeply. But it's not about saying, like, I did this specific task, more about saying, this is my specific skill. So it's not about, I answered questions for support, more like, I provided great customer service. So whatever your program manager skills were, I would think about not what you did, but the skills that you gained by doing that. And I'm definitely gonna talk about that more in the presentation. So you actually skipped ahead for me, which is great. So awesome. Let's see. Okay. Keep thinking about your career goals, keep adding them. I'm gonna keep talking about them. I'm gonna thank everyone for adding them. But I'm gonna keep going. So thank you. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about the question that we started with. So tell me about yourself. I want you to think about your favorite movie. Did you learn everything there was to learn about a character? Or just the parts that are important to the plot? Answering this question is your elevator pitch. And it's all about telling the right version of your story for the audience. Who is your audience? What is their goal for this meeting? How can you demonstrate that you have what they're looking for? So